Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Sentenced to be a Hero Episode 3. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Sentenced to be a Hero Episode 3 was basically an action episode. So, I'm going to give you a rundown of the plot, what happened, and then we're going to talk about what I liked about the episode, some things I didn't like about it, and overall, if it's still must watch, like I said, for the first two episodes. Sentenced to be Hero Episode 3 opens with a few fight scenes of the hero saving the miners. One of the best fight scenes so far. The lighting and choreography is amazing as always. Fights are visually stunning to listen to. Also, this is the first time we hear the intro in the series, which is absolutely incredible. I think the intro is great. The music is very good. It's kind of like a mix between rock and heavy metal. Overall, I think it's a really good tune. I also really like the visuals that play throughout it. I think it's very clever. I think it's very I think it's just very awesome. I think there's a lot of foreshadowing going on in the visuals, but we don't know. I haven't watched the other episodes yet, so I can't make an educated guess. But anyways, after the intro plays, we get to the main crux of the episode. So after the intro plays, we learn that King Norgel is a sacred seal specialist, and we find out that sacred seals consume energy more quickly without sunlight due to luminance. Excuse my bad language there. Due to luminescence is limited in the objects. We also find out Xylo is holding a clasp that gauges the amount of luminance in his body, and the light grows dimmer as it runs out. Xylo talks to the remaining miners and tells them that the recollection of what happened that day. As we find out, there were 50 miners, and one of them got affected with the fairy crawl. I think it's the fairy crawl, as I like to call it, and he wandered off as he was infected into like the vines crawl area. So the king, Xylo, and another hero try to escape the remaining miners, and then they are attacked by more fairies. One thing I'm noticing though is that a lot of fairies have the colors green and blue. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think it's like a reference to the world, like they're connected to the world somehow. Obviously, I don't know yet, but I assume when we watch more episodes, I will understand. I thought it was something cool, regardless. Silo the King and Tatsuba, that's another another hero, agreed to be the front lines to defend the miners, saying that they are worth less than them. Then we get a cut to the Holy Warriors to find out that the goddess has been acting antsy as she wants to help Xylo. The Holy Warriors have plans to leave to fight the Demon Lord, because that worked so well last time. We cut back to Xylo to find out the miners are exhausted, to which the king responds with a speech that motivates the miners to fight again. The king praising them for their hard work, and the miners praising Xylo for helping them despite him being a hero. We are treated to another fight scene, which really seems to be the main thing of this episode, like the main plot, just fighting to get the miners out, which I thought was interesting. It's definitely more of a payoff episode rather than like another build up one, which is honestly appreciated. It makes the series more interesting rather than just being build up, build up, build up, build up, build up. It's actually payoff in the third episode, but it's still payoff nonetheless. The miners are able to take out the fairies with their miner materials, which is a bit weird, but if we go under the logic that they're living beings that are infected, then it makes sense. We see the goddess again, who still wants gratitude and affection. It's really funny. I think it's like really reflective of like real world people, how they kind of want like gratitude and affection all the time. It helps lighten the mood regardless. She also skips the Holy Knights by sneaking past them or giving them the slip. We also learn that Xylo doesn't want to use his goddess as she might die, which further cements him as being a good guy and being consistent with his characterization up until this point. We also learn that a goddess is born to be of use to others, which I think is a cool world building detail that's probably going to be expanded on more as the series goes on. Goes on. Sorry, voice crack. We also learn that a goddess was born to be of use to others. We are treated to another fight scene, but it is interrupted by a voice that hurts everyone's eardrums. You see another one of the goddess's powers in that she could act as sort of a healer to help fight off any other foe. We are then introduced to the source of the demon blight in the cave, which is a monster that can create trees, who is called the Demon Lord Lotus and knows the goddess personally. I find that really interesting. The Demon Lord is we know the Demon Lord's name. She's called Lotus, which I think is like a reference to a flower, and it suits her character because it's like she is a living. She is a plant, basically. She's a plant, a tree, but still a plant. I'm not sure why she's a plant, but I assume it has something to do with the earth. I assume it has something to do with the earth that'll probably expand on in future episodes. She also knows the goddess, which I don't know why she knows the goddess, but again, that's probably an element for future episodes. She was also the one creating the screams in the first place that hurts everyone's ears, but it also corrupts their soul if they hear it, which I think is like kind of like a zombie kind of like thing where if you get infected, you get infected, you become one of them. Although it's this time it's played for it's played like a scream instead of like being infected, like being killed and then turning into one of them. We are then treated to a really intense battle between Tetsuya, the hero, sorry about that, and the demon lord, while Xylo covers for him using his swords as explosions. I actually thought this fight was really intense. Him, Xylo, trying to kill the demon lord and not trying to get Tatsuya grabbed by the demon lord's tentacles. So he keeps throwing these explosive daggers at him. We also learn that the main body is a decoy and that there's a second. So when Tatsuya kills the first body, there is a second one that is apparently an eye that it looks like a flower, referencing to the fact that the main body is a flower. The Holy Knights also follow the goddess and are attacked by the sound wave. Tentacles attack the miners, however the king uses his sacred seal on the demon lord, but it wasn't powerful enough and he was grabbed by it. And Tatsuya uses a special power of growing stronger, similar to like another anime character from specifically All Might from My Hero Academia. And he grabs the tentacles and pulls it out of the ground. Xylo tries to use the seal, but he fails as he is caught by tentacles. The king slices off his own leg to get free, which was really gruesome. I was not expecting that at all, but regardless, it works as he stabs the eye, which is like the main part of the second body, the real body, which gives Xylo the opportunity to grab it to use the sacred seal as the tentacles let go. The episode ends with the soldiers reuniting with their families and the king getting a new leg. But most importantly, the episode establishes an idea that maybe heroes can be good people. As the girl from the second episode reunites with her father, who happens to be one of the miners, gives Xylo a flower. Cool little reference to what happened a few minutes ago, essentially having a feel good ending. Thus drawing the episode to a close. I like the ending. I like the ending of this episode. I thought it was very wholesome. I have a feeling this anime is not going to be very wholesome later on, but it's nice that we got one wholesome moment for the ending. Fight scenes were brilliant as always. This episode was more about fighting and payoff rather than like setting stuff up. So for that, it's kind of like different compared to the other episodes, but I still really like it. It's still a must-watch anime due to the fight scenes and the characters being really interesting in terms of like anime premise. We didn't really see too much of like the other characters in this episode. It was mainly just Xylo, the the goddess, the holy knight, the holy knight leader, and the king. But overall, I think it was, like, a very interesting episode. Oh, and the miners too, I forgot about that. But overall, that was a very interesting episode that kinda gave more insight into, like, the story, the lore, and how fairies, like, work. So I do think on that front, it is kinda like build up, but it's also payoff in the sense we get a lot of action. So overall, I would still recommend this anime to anyone who hasn't watched it, or for people who have seen episode 2 but haven't watched episode 3. Still really good. Episodes are on the same app as always. Thanks for watching.